Kerrit podcast. Podcast, good song.
Yeah, this sounds like something carrots could grow to.
Crunch into us.
What's up, Doc? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Fuck them.
Crunch.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey!
You shaved.
I did. I was always wondering what the face looked like underneath my whiskers because it's been years since I've shaved, and I was concerned that I would look too young because I thought I had a baby face. Turns out I just look much older. So
I don't know. I think you still look young.
I think it's in the eyes. I'm just tired all the time. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on?
It could be. I stayed up till 4 last night, so.
Dude, I went to bed at midnight, woke up at 3, couldn't sleep until 6. So I got like 5 hours in. But I mean, I was like awake, fully awake. I started watching Defy Bloods.
Dude, did you finish it?
No, not yet.
Oh my god, I loved it.
I've only gotten about 45 minutes in so far. It's pretty good so far. I like it so far. I don't usually like Spike Lee, I should say.
Did you see Black Klansman?
I mean, yeah, Black Klansman was good. I know this doesn't really count as Spike Lee because it's like a studio movie, but Inside Man is solid. But, you know, if we're talking about his movies with his vision, I've only seen a few. And I mean, I think I was too young to really understand them. Not to mention I'm white. I mean, honestly, I was like, 18 trying to understand what these movies meant, like Jungle Fever, like
Never
watching
saw it.
like, oh, okay, Samuel L. Jackson, yeah, really doing well here.
I've only seen Do the Right Thing, which I love, Malcolm X, which I love.
I need to watch Malcolm X. I still haven't seen that all the way through.
I mean, I always hear people talk shit about Spike Lee, but I don't know why. Because everything I've seen of his, it's been like, this is what he's wanted to do, clearly. Or Inside Man, but it's still a good movie. So you can't really fault him.
And he does have a certain style. So
Yes.
it's kind of, he has a pretty cool style. So I get,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
And
I think.
I loved Defy Bloods. I mean, that makes me want to watch every fucking movie now.
The one thing I didn't like so far, and this is so nitpicky.
I'm ready.
But in the flashback scene, when they're, I only saw like a couple flashback scenes, but there's one where they're like in a gun battle after their helicopter goes down. Spoilers. This is like literally 20 minutes of the movie. But it's more of a criticism of like all movies right now where they try to save money by having computer generated gunfire effects.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's no impact. Like it takes me out of the movie so much, and I'm trying to spin it because they're literally old men in the memories as well. Yeah. So it's almost like, oh, it's from their memory. Maybe it's all distorted and they're not really firing guns quite the same, but I don't know.
That's how you're supposed to spin it, because I think that's the intention. Because if you notice, every time, like, the real... Mike and I talked about this on our podcast, but the real movie that you're seeing is like... This feels like a film. And then when they flash back, it's like, oh, this is like a movie. This is like a 70s movie.
Like 8mm style.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be that, like, over-the-top, memory-type, dreamlike movie thing.
Oh, okay.
So it's supposed to be like an Apocalypse Now over-the-top. And I think it's kind of like a... It's almost like a statement on those war movies from, way back when.
Right. Well, I am curious, because it got really good reviews, but the people that didn't like it vehemently hated it.
Oh, are they white supremacists?
No, they are black critics, though.
Interesting. Well...
So it makes me curious.
I mean, also Candace Owens, she speaks for every black person on the planet. So.
You know what's weird? I just have to say, I don't know if we talked about her last episode.
Probably not.
I think maybe, I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know who I talked about her with, but I just learned of her existence like 3 weeks ago on Facebook randomly. And I'm like, okay, who's this chick all about? And I was curious because she's attractive because I'm an asshole. And then I realized very slowly and also very quickly, rapidly, I rapidly realized that she was Republican. And I was like, oh, I get it. I see what's going on here.
Yep.
And then I didn't care anymore. And then I keep hearing about her, and I'm like, who is it though? Like, I don't get. Like, I happened to see her on Facebook, and now everyone knows about her. Like, what does she even do?
She's a person that's speaking white supremacy views, so therefore they use her.
Is she Clayton Bigsby's niece?
That's great. That's the title right there. But she'll say these things, and then white racists will jump on the bandwagon about, like, see, she says this, and it's like you're using that talking head to vilify your own bullshit, as if one speaks for all. Could you imagine if the fucking Grandmaster of the KKK stood up and is like, I speak for all Christians, and you're like, no.
I mean, it's a lot like, it's like the Washington Redskins, and how I remember when I think this was like 4 years or 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know. And someone was talking about how they want, like, there was the huge controversy to change their name. And this happened like years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, in our decade, but years ago.
It happens all the time, by the way.
It happens
getting brought up.
It does, but I feel like every few years, like, it kind of dies down and then comes back up. It's like stocks. It just keeps rising and falling.
Oh, I should check mine.
I know, right? I have questions about that. But so at the time, South Park did an episode about it called Go Fund Yourself, which is hilarious because it's a good episode. But anyways, I remember commenting or like talking to somebody online and being like, well, there's a poll out there of Native Americans that don't care about it. I was like that person. Mm-hmm. And someone was like, kindly explained to me, well, that doesn't matter. And then it really sank in, especially recently with all the things going on. You can't just have one person represent an entire nation of people.
I didn't realize that until recently, because I was also one of those people, because I think that's one of the reasons that media is evil, because media will take it's like, see, this is what they're saying, and it's like they fit the narrative of where the money lies. And I think most money lies in conservative white supremacist views. So therefore people latch on to a Candace Owens. And it's the same thing with, like, if the Redskins change their name, then that's going to cost them so much money. It's going to cost them fans. They're going to have to make apologies and bullshit. So the easier thing is to find a group of Native Indians that are like, well, we don't have a problem with it. Perfect. Great. We'll take their ideal. And it's like, it's fucking, everything is complicated, and it deserves a conversation, and not just a simple fucking, I don't know, I think I said this and you said something different.
It's funny you say that, because the NFL has had a history of kind of shoving problems under the mattress. I mean,
you think?
Yeah, right. But it's stranger to me because the Redskins, like, the owner has, like, been historically a shithead. And I believe the owner prior to the owner right now was totally racist. I mean, obviously.
It's almost to the point
they're
where
all white billionaires.
I know. Well, they should try being a football player, so then therefore they can see how racist it can be.
Well, what I don't get now, I do think my prediction is the Redskins will change their name soon.
They should.
The reasoning is because I think the NFL, in their eyes, because they're always just after money, I think, obviously, now that they have the players locked down, they all sign their new contracts for, like, the next 10 years. They always renegotiate every 10 years. So now that they're all locked down again and all these protests are happening, I think it's in the best interest of the Redskins to change, to take advantage, because they probably will gain new fans, more respect, and sell more merchandise. Because once they, like, change it to, like, the Washington Warriors or something, everyone's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get a T-shirt, man. And everyone's going to be like, good for you, man. And they're all going to be like, sweet, money.
That's because the narrative has changed. I mean, if you notice throughout history, slavery was fucking the best thing ever until a certain point, and then it flipped. But it was always wrong. The Redskins now changing their name is like, no, it's been wrong the whole time.
Right.
Maybe you could have been the Redskin Potatoes. That would have been good, because you're not going to change the name of a fucking potato. I mean, I think Alex Klodkowski said that actually on Facebook.
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one.
Someone said it, but yeah, I mean that's such a great point.
Yeah, well,
you could have easily done it then.
It's funny too, like you start thinking about it. There's so many names out there. Like there's an infinite amount of names, and also you could like. It's not unheard of for a football team to just change their name. There's precedent for that happening. When the Houston Oilers were sold to Tennessee, there's no oil in Tennessee, so they changed it to the Titans. Like, I don't know. Like,
but there's no controversy behind it. It's just that I think the difference is that's such a simple ideal for people to understand. They're like, oh, there's no oil there, so why would they be the Oilers? Versus here, where it's like, well, they're not racist, so why should they have to change the name? And it's like, because it's inherently a racist thing. It's the same as Aunt Jemima, fucking Uncle Ben, all this shit. It's all instilled.
I was going to ask you about that, actually, because that is a huge thing right now that Aunt Jemima is changing its logo and name, right? I'm not exactly sure of the details.
It's the Mammy character that was, popularized in minstrel shows. It's basically what what's her name from
Hattie
McDaniel, what she played in Gone with the Wind.
Right. And I've seen people that are like, oh, are we gonna, this is outrage culture and we're canceling everything, and I'm like, does it count on this though? I don't know. I feel like we're allowed to change this one.
It's just, they're not changing the recipe.
That's
who cares?
And I feel like the thing is, it's subtly reinforcing these stereotypes. Even though, I mean, if you take it out, there's like the next generation comes in and won't be exposed to that anymore. So it's like, okay, awesome. At least that is removed from the culture. At least we have like, they're doing something hands-on to change thought processes.
If these people were really smart, they would be like, okay, we'll take Aunt Jemima off if we can also take off Orville Redenbacher because he's a boomer. And it's a mean stereotype.
Oh man!
I'm like, that was the actual guy. That was his name though, and also what he looked like. This is like Aunt Jemima. So there's a controversy in like the great grandchild or whatever of her, and he's like, if they take off her name and identity, they're scrubbing her from the history. I'm like, motherfucker, her name's not Aunt Jemima. Like, they've already scrubbed her from history. No one knows who the fuck she is. So therefore, if you're asking for money, you should get paid, or should you? Like, I don't know what to believe in that sense. I do know that enough people are offended by it, so fucking remove it. That should be the end of the debate.
See, I think that in that regard to like family descendants, it's the same argument with the Redskins, where it's like, well, we got a group of Native Americans that says it's okay. It's like, well, it's not about you anymore. It's about like the greater impact on the world and the national conversation at that point.
That's the thing. I got swept up in that narrative where it's like, it's one guy who's like, I don't have a problem with it. And you're like, fuck, it blindsided me. I was like, oh, yeah, I got blinded by it. It's like, no, that guy sucks. That's what it is. So it's not, I mean,
and
it's not about his family.
Yeah, and I gotta say, it's not like he necessarily sucks. Maybe he's just not looking at it like this, or maybe or he personally finds it to be inoffensive and a tribute to his ancestry. But again, it's like
she wasn't a mammy.
I know.
It's fucking insane.
It's like the same thing with Uncle Ben. I mean, it's so funny to me too, like how all of these people are aunts and uncles. Like, that's a racist term.
It is. Yep. It's basically, know your place, make me some rice.
Exactly.
Know your place, make me some syrup. That's fucking... It's so... And that's the thing, too, is like, it's almost the same as the Redskins, where it's so ingrained in culture that to challenge it is like...
Automatically, oh no!
Automatically, you're the worst person on the planet. I'm like...
Right.
I mean, what would you guys have been... We live in a world where Republican conservatives are supportive of Confederacy, the flags, the statues, but they're also the same ones to keep saying that, well, Abe Lincoln was Republican. Motherfucker, you would have voted for Democrat then. You idiot.
Right. That's funny. I didn't even think about it like that, but that is an absolutely astute observation.
Thank you. I'm a thinker.
I mean, he literally fought against the people that they put statues up for, and he straight up was assassinated for it.
Yep. But they're like, oh, he was on the good team. And you're like, no, the team fucking traded.
The team's evolved, just like everything does. Just like Aunt Jemima did. She went from like a literal blackface image into like, I don't know, a more svelte grandmotherly figure, I guess, even though she's an aunt, but whatever.
Yeah, it's all topsy-turvy and, all that good stuff, so...
Right, so everything still sucks is what you're saying. Awesome. I was actually hoping that everything still sucks because I'm looking to keep my depression levels at a high level.
It just sucks, but it doesn't have to. I mean, I've been watching countless documentaries and I watched Just Mercy, the Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan movie. Did you see that one?
I did not.
It was amazing. I loved it.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. In fact, I don't care. I am that guy. Like movies like that. First of all, I just normally I'm not a huge courtroom drama person unless it's like the greatest movie. But
you like Runaway Jury.
I mean, it's fine. Like I remember defending it. I remember saying it was solid, and it was like it was so weird how nothing had changed in 20 years or 17 years or whatever. But it's kind of the same reason, like, I don't like The Notebook. Like, there are good movies in every genre, right? But I'm not actively seeking them out. And even though I do really like the actors in Just Mercy, I'm not, like, dying to see it because it's going to just be one of those, oh, God, more injustice. It's injustice porn. And I can't do it. It's like it makes me feel awful. I feel awful all the time, but everything sucks. I told you already. I don't want to have to add to that misery.
I think that's the difference of like, I don't know. I don't see. Well, I listen to a ton of true crime podcasts and stuff like that, but for me, I don't think it's. I've never seen it as porn. I'm also not a person that watches like Saw or Hostel, and I'm just like fucking yeah. Like I don't get off on seeing the violence. I don't like. The shit Saw movies. I think if it's a good plot, that's what it's all about. So I don't see it as like an egregious whatever. But anyway, Just Mercy is about the forming of the Equal Justice Initiative. It's the guy, he plays the guy that created it, and it's I like being educated on the things and try to speak about it as much as possible and see if I can do anything about it. But the movie was good. What was I saying? Yeah, just, watching documentary. I watched 13th, the Ava DuVernay movie.
Yeah, the documentary. Like, that's another one I really... That one I'd probably be more open to watching just because I've heard so many good things about it. But it's just
It's all eye-opening.
It's sad.
It is. Of course it's sad. History is sad.
That's true, but I guess sometimes I just feel a little defeated. I mean... it's hard to
try being black.
I mean, you say that and you're right, and that's funny. Like, you're right. But, I mean, Christ, man. I'm living in an apartment. I can't really,
I know.
I can't affect real change. I mean, protests can definitely affect real change. That's about the extent of what we can do. May also monthly donations, possibly, but that's it. I mean, we're watching all of this unfold. That's why I hate arguments also where it's like, oh, just like go out there and do something. It's like, well, dude, like what the fuck? Like, there's no fucking guidebook to any of this shit, and I'm fucking sick and tired of it because it fucking happens all the time. And no, I know, I get it, I'm white, but like, dude, I mean, I can't even imagine what black people have to go through. That fucking must suck. Like, it must fucking suck so fucking hard.
I think the reason that I watch these is because it really does. Dude, here's the thing. We come from a very small town, and if we would not have gotten out of that small town, A, and B, if we wouldn't have tried to think differently, we would still be stuck in that small town or that small town mentality. That's the big difference. And I feel like watching these things really opens your mind to it, because I remember being in fucking high school and not really, thinking past my own face. I remember like having those same kind of thoughts and, saying faggot all the time or retard or whatever, and not really understanding the ramifications for that. And as you get older, you gain more perspective and understand like, oh, that does make people feel bad. Okay, I get it. but it's just such an interesting thing. So that's the reason that I watch those things, is for educational purposes and just to try and do anything that I can. Even having this conversation right now with you, I feel like maybe that can help.
I'd rather do the conversation than watching the documentary. I guess that's kind of how I would be. Like,
I'll fill you in on everything.
Oh, so I've heard about it already. Like I had this. I mean, okay. I mean,
I'm kidding.
Okay.
But, I will say this, though. This fucking threw me off about Just Mercy. I didn't know what year it took place. And then halfway, I thought it was like today, or maybe like
it's like the 80s, right?
Yeah. It's so, I think it's the 90s. Regardless, that point right there where I couldn't tell what year it took place says fucking volumes. It's still happening. That's what scared me.
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I can get my my education from Queer Eye.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, what happens in Queer Eye, Gerrit, is there's this group, and they're called the Fab Five.
I've watched it.
So, right. So each member of the Fab Five has his own distinct thing, you know? And so then they seek out a culturally diverse group of people each season to lay their queer eye upon, much like the Eye of Sauron lays his big eye upon, like people he's trying to kill. I don't know how he uses his eye. I just realized it is made of fire. Anyways, so that's what that show is. Mm-hmm. And that is a fun show that also shows you how shitty things are.
For like 3 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, and then it makes you feel good.
We're going to take a break, everybody. It's nice. If you're watching on YouTube, there's no break. So, but on audio, Anchor ad.
Anchor's away. I got it. Crushed me. I'm dying. Fuck. My spleen. Oh, shit. God. Anyway, so welcome back to the Kerrit podcast, everybody. We've edited everything out prior to just now, so we are actually beginning our last segment on Jim Bond.
Jimmy Band.
Yes. Was I talking to you?
Why are we still doing this? Just talking about James Bond.
Oh, it's because
I love it.
We're trying to distract ourselves from the everything that's happening. The plastic in the ocean and the burning of the rainforest and the systemic oppression and racism that has been within our country since its foundation, and the fact that wealthy white people have been in control of everything since the literal foundation of the country as well. And inequality in general between genders also. And I mean, just the fact that, pay has stagnated, and also that healthcare is awful. Yep. And insurance companies try to screw you over, and politics are just completely corrupt. And we're trying to also, ignore climate change right now, and just how shitty everything is. And how, think about how, like, the electric car, they had a prototype in like the teens.
And then they buried it.
They buried it. So our entire basic society has been built on racism and corruption and greed and lies. And the fact that we're at where we are, all of this could have been avoided if everyone were just like, oh, this could be better. Maybe we should do this. Oh, I see what you're doing there. That's not bad. Electricity, I get it. Okie dokie, that. Batteries, sure.
My favorite is when people say that there is an issue. Like, you say, well, the system's fucked up, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. And you're like, well, how about this? No, it's not that. You're like, no, it's all a part of it.
But, all everything.
Yeah, so.
Hey, you know what? I thought it was really cool how we went to the moon in 1969, and then once we did that, we were like, we're done there.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're the best.
Alrighty.
How are those astronauts right now? Because we launched some people up into space. What are they up to?
I think they're still up there. They docked with the International Space Station, right?
I mean, has anyone been following that story?
I mean, I know they docked with the space station. I don't know what has happened beyond that.
They're all fucking. That's what's happening.
Probably.
They're making new people up there. That's why they sent them there.
Hugo Drax style.
Yeah.
And we're back. Dude, oh my God. I have a story for you. Holy fucking shit. So, Moonraker. It's about Moonraker. I'm sorry. It's always, everything's about Moonraker in this series. It's either about Moonraker or Die Another Day. I mean, that is the fucking, those are the bedrock fucking greatest Bond movies of all time.
They are not. I wish I could find my notes, but yeah.
What I was going to say was, Heather and I went hammocking in a park nearby.
Aww.
And we saw a couple who unleashed their dog. And you can see where this is going already, I'm sure. The dog ended up attacking another dog, and it was a pretty violent encounter, and blood was drawn.
Wow.
And the dog was fine, but it was still like a shitty situation. And it made me think of Moonraker because I was like, man, dog biting or dogs. I had just finished a book as well. I swear to God, this was like last week. So all of this happened at once. It was The Great Santini by Pat Conroy, and it was made into a movie with Robert Duvall. And in the book, there's a scene where this dude is getting murdered. Spoiler alert for a book that came out in the 70s. And he has like literally 20 dogs on him. Not on him. Around him.
Imagine a pyramid of dogs.
He's like walking on a pyramid. No, the pyramid's walking for him, and he's just standing there like this. And so it describes he's being murdered, and he unleashes his dogs as he's dying and bleeding out, and the dogs go after the shooter, and it describes like the shooter being torn apart like pretty viciously, like chunks of like calf muscle and shit like that, And I was like, oh, that's fucked up. And then this thing happens at the park. And then I was like, wow, dog attacks, based on what I saw at the park, what I've heard in the past, and what I just recently read in The Great Santini, why was one featured in Moonraker? I just don't get it. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think it's crazy. We talked about this already, but I just can't get over it. I talked about this with my dad.
The dog attack in Moonraker?
Yeah.
Why are you asking why it was there?
I just can't believe it. It's
because it's sinister.
Attacks are so violent.
Yeah,
I know, but it is beyond sin. Like Moonraker is a movie where James Bond misses the first spaceship, and then he's like, "We need to get to space," and Dr. Goodhead, LOL, is like, "Let's get into this one that's launching." Don't worry, everyone. In the 70s, we had spaceships prepped all the time. You can't just do that.
Your cat's up on the refrigerator.
Oh, look. She's cleaning herself. That's my cat. That's OC.
OC.
Yeah.
Yeah, cat attacks are not as bad. Shark attacks are the worst. But yeah, dog attacks, I mean, it's in the Omen as well, right?
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's like fine in a horror movie. But, it's just weird because it's such a fucking dark moment in this movie about space.
It's because Roger Moore movies are totally just all over the place. We know that.
Absolutely. But it's just I think that's probably the craziest range, though, in his movies.
I mean, the next movie, no, because For Your Eyes Only, which one? Moonraker has the pigeon double take.
That's true.
And For Your Eyes Only has the driving the yellow beetle thing or whatever through those streets.
True,
and then
but
also
I don't think that's
him
so bad.
Kicking the car down the thing, and then that woman getting
killed. That's not campy though. I see what you mean. Like, yeah, right. Okay,
yeah, levels. But then the woman gets killed on the beach.
Yeah. What about View to a Kill, where he is driving around in half a car, and then Max Zorin just murders everyone in the tunnel or whatever, the cave.
Yep. Oh, that just reminded me. I was watching A View to a Kill one time, and my grandparents walked in the room, and it was the part where James Bond was about to have sex with Grace Jones,
I love that scene.
If you don't know, she's black, but they both acted real fucking weird about it. And I was like, what? Why is that weird? So it was like that was a moment where they would try to explain to me how black people and white people shouldn't have sex. And it's like...
Well, they shouldn't, right? Because their parts don't fit. Right? That's what I was always told.
Yeah, it's like an Xbox and a PlayStation port.
Yeah, that's what my priest said. Father Hitler. He was a priest. He was German.
I'm watching The Untold History of the United States right now, and they're talking about
Oliver
Hitler.
Stone.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, this isn't true. And I'm like, well, the history itself is really one-sided. So let's hear both sides. I'm really interested to see that and then see what their shit-talking is. Because so far it all makes complete sense.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
James Bond.
James Bond.
Video
There's
games.
Yes.
What were you saying? You can't stop watching your cat.
She's so cute. Look at her. Do you see her?
I do.
Oh, look at her. She sees us. She said hello.
Oh my god.
Dude, I am. They're just such fun things. All they do is hang out and do nothing. It's great. They're my spirit animal. That's what I like to do.
Hang out and do nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you know Timothy Dalton is in a new DC TV show?
I did not. Did
It's
you
called
know that?
Doom Patrol.
Oh, Timothy Dalton's in that?
Yeah, with Brendan Fraser.
I should watch that.
Yeah, I kind of want to now.
Did you know that Michael Keaton is reprising the role of Batman in the Flash movie?
I heard that was a possibility. I didn't know it was a guarantee.
Interesting.
I think it's funny. Dude, first of all, I can't wait till the coronavirus is over. God, can you imagine? I mean, we're in the there's like 122,000 deaths. I remember when it hit 100. I'm sorry, we're going all over the place, but god damn.
I mean, we're just not going to talk about James Bond. That's
no,
fine.
122,000 deaths. That's crazy. That's
I know.
More than in a James Bond movie.
But then the thing is, once you say that number, people try and write it off where they're just like, it's not that many. The numbers are fudged. It's not true. And it's like,
at the rate that we are going, I honestly can see us breaking 1 million within a year.
20 states now are on the rise for more cases. It was 10 and then 18 and then now it's 20. That's the last I've checked.
I mean, it's obscene. It's obscene. Did you see Trump? I mean, oh man, I must say,
let's talk about the Tulsa rally. This is great.
Schadenfreude, bro. Hella Schadenfreude. I loved seeing. I just got to start with him walking off of the presidential Marine One, I believe it's called, and his walk. It was so great. It was so great to see behind the curtain because you so very rarely see Trump as an actual human, which is like an actual person.
So
because when you see him walk,
and sad.
Yeah, like you can see like he looks like a person every single time he's on TV or talking or whatever the fuck his stupidity is taking him. He looks like he's acting a part. You don't really realize it because he does it so often. At least I don't. I just kind of like take it as it is at this point because he does it all the time, literally.
Yeah.
He's always playing a character. And so when you see him walking like that, just slumped over and resigned and just fucking sad and depressed, it's awesome. I love it. It's just great. It's so great.
It was so, like, someone should put the Arrested Development Charlie Brown.
They did.
Oh, God.
Oh, they definitely did. I watched like 7 videos where they put different music in. It's great.
Dude, it's so sad you almost feel bad for him, and then you're like, oh, wait, he killed over 100,000 of his own people. Nope.
What a fucking idiot. I don't care at all. I think it's great. It reminds me, there's one other instance where you could see the real him, and it was when he gave a speech on COVID like a couple months ago when this first began, and the cameras were rolling after he was done, and he's like he like takes a deep breath and goes okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like
he spilled on himself or whatever before he started, and he's like, oh fuck, I gotta
he
swore.
What a fucking what a I
dude. There's that, and then there's also another one where someone rushed the stage and he panicked like a little girl. It was pretty beautiful. He was like,
poor guy.
And then his Secret Service surrounded him, and it's beautiful. I mean, I want him to die in the worst way.
Did you see? He actually gave us during his speech in Tulsa. He actually was commenting on how steep the ramp was, and he called it like an ice rink. And it was. I didn't realize he did that, and I don't really seek out him talking anymore. So
I don't either. He did that, and he also showed people that he can drink water with one hand. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
They cheered like motherfuckers, and Jackie and I watched it where he had to do the thing where he couldn't lift, and then he had
right, and he used it, which is weird.
You know why he did that? Jackie said it. It's because his suit was too tight.
Oh, interesting.
That makes complete sense. Why wouldn't he just say that? Why, he makes these fucking grandiose things, and then everyone else
I mean, the thing is though, he could always say something else. Like when he's going down the ramp, he could have easily just blamed it on anyone and said, "Oh, they said to take it slow just to be on the safe side."
Yeah.
Like, easily just said anything.
He blames coronavirus on China. Why can't he blame someone else on that fucking ramp?
Dude, that right? And so yeah, it was really great. It was great, honestly, because there are so many things. So many things.
I know.
William Barr trying to like fire an attorney in New York
who's looking into the money that Deutsche Bank has loaned to Trump. They're trying to look into all that, and that is the reason that his taxes haven't been released, because there's a big holdup in that. And if that gets leaked, that bank goes down and Trump goes down. That's the reason he's trying to get reelected, because it won't happen if he gets reelected. Because Deutsche Bank, dude, I mean, this is another reason that I've been watching a lot of documentaries, because there's Dirty Money, which they talk about all of the Jared Kushner shit and how he's connected. That's one of the episodes.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
2 seasons, Dirty Money.
I actually did not know about that one. That sounds interesting.
They talk about Trump as well on it. Trial by Media is a really interesting one as well. And then...
did you watch the Epstein one?
Not yet. I started it. I've listened to so many podcasts about it. I'm like, I know all these stories. It's so fucking upsetting to me. Here's what I don't understand. People will say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And you're like, okay, so clearly there's a cover-up. And then when you bring up systemic racism and police, they're like, nope, not true. And you're like, it's a system of cover-ups. I mean, this is fucking... It's insane to me that you'll accept one and not the other, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like maybe they're things that are related.
Maybe there's a connection. Conspiratorial, but
weird.
Real. That's the thing, is like, I don't understand why people waste their time with like obviously debunkable conspiracy theories. But it's like, why don't you actually talk about the ones that are real? Like, they're conspiracies. Talk about them. They're real.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's weird. I think it's weird. When did we all decide, and it's not like we actually decided, but how did it come about in humanity where we somehow decided on our own to separate ourselves into groups of people that come up with any conceivable bullshit?
How do you mean? Like,
for example, like there are crazy conspiracy theories out there, and it's not like a ton of people believe them, but a couple do, And like, how did we as humans reach a point where for some reason we all have felt the need to like come up with a bunch of different crazy things to say, and we just keep one-upping each other and refusing to give in to reason and logic and facts?
I think the biggest root of that can be the education system.
Interesting.
I think that's if you took all that money that they spent on tanks, for the police force and instead put it into all schools, not just privatized schools or just, suburban schools like you and I went to. I mean, all schools. We could actually focus on, paying teachers better so they have more incentive to actually teach children, and fucking getting money out of goddamn colleges. Like, if you're putting the money that goes into colleges is not going towards the fucking education, okay? It's going towards the infrastructure of the school. It's going towards big bank accounts. It's going towards the fucking head of whatever the fuck.
Sports. Also.
Sports, yes. Concerts. I mean, Amy Schumer got paid, $11,000 to do a show outside of fucking Grand Valley State University? I mean, come the fuck on.
She's really funny, though. Have you seen her comedy bits?
I have. I have seen many of her stand-up jokes.
I also really like the movie Trainwreck, where she plays herself.
A train wreck?
Yeah, and she does this really cool thing at the end of the movie where her character does a total 180 and decides to give up her lifestyle. It is symbolically represented by her handing off her bongs and weed paraphernalia to a homeless person. And I was like, oh, that's exactly how this works.
That's nice. I didn't see that movie, but I did see I Feel Pretty, and halfway through your explanation, I thought that's the movie you were describing.
Oh, I have not seen I Feel Pretty. I thought that starred Melissa McCarthy. So we're all just pieces of shit on the Kerrit podcast.
That's the thing is, like, I don't want to talk too much shit, but at the same time, I mean, it's not for me. I understand. Like, as I get older, I understand that, like, not everything's for me.
Dude, it's like The Notebook.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
No, but I've seen Love Actually, and I feel like I like that movie, but then people have turned on that in recent years. So I'm like, fuck me. I don't have an opinion anymore,
I think it's interesting how so The Notebook is on our 100 movie poster list.
Have you watched it yet?
We got about 45 minutes in before I said we need to turn this off. And I feel kind of bad. But, like, here's the thing. I will watch a movie of any genre. I really will. I realize, like, especially if it's on a list. I mean, it's on our list. Like, we have to complete the list, you have to watch this movie. And I'll admit, a part of me has always been curious about it because of how ingrained it is in pop culture. And it straight up launched the careers of its stars, more or less. I guess Mean Girls might have come out first now that I think about it. Yeah. I don't remember. But anyways, regardless, it's right up there, And it's generally regarded as, like, the only tolerable Nicholas Sparks movie, as far as I know. But it is fucking awful.
Why is it so bad? I've never seen it.
You should watch it, because then I can talk to you about it. Because I feel like I'm going crazy. Because I've talked to people about it, and they're like, oh, that's a good movie. And I'm like, it rides on the charisma of its stars, and that's it. I mean, it has, like, good cinematography and I guess, like, camera work in general. Like,
so is the dialogue just shit? Or is it that same thing where you're like, these people would never end up together, like The Proposal?
No, it was more. It wasn't like The Proposal. No, it was more like it was more like this is the movie. Like, it's been on for 40 minutes and they're just kind of flirting and kind of in a relationship. And I'm like, what am I watching right now? Like, nothing's happening. The only thing that happens are, like, Lifetime or movie type shit where it's just such obvious. Like, it just feels obvious to me. I can't tell if I think I honestly have a bias against this type of movie. And I guess that's what I mean when I say, like, this movie isn't for me. But at the same time, you mentioned Love Actually. That's a good movie. And it's not the same.
But that's because it's different.
It is different. I mean, I guess I'm struggling to come up with an alternative that features, like, kind of a centralized dramatic romance and not like a romantic comedy type genre thing.
I think the thing is that it's not for you, but not because you're misogynistic. I think it's because you've seen so many fucking movies that you're like, I want to see something new.
I mean, if you look at the movies on this list, they have like obvious ones like Pulp Fiction and Terminator. Yeah. And it's just weird to me that, like, they put, like, The Notebook is part of pop culture, but it's like not a good representation. I feel like it just happened to be one that wormed its way into pop culture without actually being good.
Well, is Juno on that list?
No, it's not.
I mean, that's why.
I mean, there's a bunch. Like, Goodfellas isn't on the list. I think that there's an argument that should for sure be on the list. Taxi Driver is an easy example. I don't get how they don't have Rear Window. I think that's a total movie that needs to be on there. Even like Frankenstein.
Is The Birds on there?
The Birds is not on there. I mean, like When Harry Met Sally is not on there.
See,
Clueless
that should
is
be
not on there. Like, how is Clueless not on there, but The Notebook is?
I've never seen Clueless, but I do think that that is a classic, even though I've never seen it. But I also think that the two other ones that you just listed, When Harry Met Sally, how is that on there? How is that not on there over that one? At
this point, like, see, we're trying to break it down, and we're trying to figure out at this point movies of that type. But also, I don't know enough movies of that type, so I'm kind of defaulting to movies that aren't quite on the level of The Notebook. Like When Harry Met Sally is definitely not dramatic. I mean, it's dramatic, but it's like comedy drama. It's dramedy. Whereas Notebook seems straight drama. Mm-hmm. I guess Notebook to me, it feels like a movie. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're into this at all. I can't get over this.
No, I just
don't get it.
I want to get to the bottom of it.
I just don't get it. It's literally a movie where you're watching it and it's all dialogue, but the dialogue isn't very, like, there's nothing fulfilling happening, and it's just a romance. Like, I just don't get romance movies. I think. Because
what are some other examples that would fall under that for you?
Yeah, like, I know that's a good question, because I brought up like When Harry Met Sally, and like Clueless I brought up, but that doesn't really belong in that category. I guess something like, I mean, obviously all the Nicholas Sparks movies, but those are all bad. I mean, those are all like critically bamboozled. Mm-hmm. Is that the right word? Anyways, what else is there? There's what are shitty, like fucking Titanic, I guess? I don't know.
No, that's that's an epic. That's
I mean, I love Titanic, so
I would say that's like a it's a romance, but it's around like it's a disaster film with a romance in it. So that's the heart of the movie.
Yeah. And maybe the main story or the main plot hasn't really kicked into gear yet, but at the same time it's been on for 40 minutes and all I've gotten is like, she's rich and he's poor and her family doesn't approve of him, and it's just like, oh,
it's funny.
God.
You just described Romeo and Juliet.
Right, that's literally what I was thinking. Yeah. But at the same time, it's so easy to make that comparison. I mean, I feel like when you can always bring a movie back to something else. I mean, Forrest Gump, you can come back to, like, I don't know. There's fucking, what's that one thing where he's just like, what, fucking Gulliver's Travels or something like that, you know? Like,
I never saw that one.
Well, I mean, it's a book, you know? I mean, there's
yeah.
So you can kind of just relate something always, like everything is a recycled idea. Mm-hmm. And it's like how those ideas are created and how they're brought about in a bunch of different ways that make them memorable or good even.
Hold on.
Looking at your cat?
Yeah, no, not my cat, my movies. Let's see if I can find
okay, here we go.
What about broadcast news? I have that.
I never saw that.
Never saw it either.
As Good as It Gets. That's a good movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's more comedy, though, than Notebook.
It is, but Jack Nicholson plays such a horse's ass that
I know,
like,
he does.
That's the reason it's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's really a drama. Everything
There's
else
a lot of drama. Yeah, there is. I feel like Notebook reminds me of kind of like a 40s melodrama type movie where it's... But at the same time, in the 40s, because those were early examples of movies, there's more... Like, it's more interesting from a historic perspective for me, I guess.
I got two. Pleasantville.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Atonement.
Atonement's good, but it's so depressing it's hard to watch again for me. Even though, like, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is that's comparable to The Notebook.
Oh yeah, Atonement's way better than The Notebook. At least Atonement has stuff going on in it, though.
See?
You know.
And then Reality Bites.
I never saw that one.
Never saw it either, but it's a 90s kind of thing. But
Ben Stiller's in it.
Heathers.
Yeah, that's totally not anything close to this.
I know, but it's just like they're such, I don't know. I mean,
Twilight is a big reminder of Notebook for me.
Oh no.
Like, that's what it feels like. I mean, if you look up reviews on it, it got like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, I honest to God think it's the only rotten movie on our 100 movie list. And it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, So what does your lady think of it?
I think she likes it. I also think sometimes she just says that she likes it, and I can't tell how much she stands behind her words.
Interesting.
I have no shame in saying that.
Is she there?
No, she's in the other room. But like, you know how sometimes do you ever have a conversation with somebody and you're just like, did you like this? And they're like, yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
And you're
Alex.
like, okay, but yeah, I mean, yeah. You're trying to get to the root of something, and it's more like, it was good. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, but it's bad, right?
Yeah. I have that a lot with, my lady as well.
Right. I mean, the new Lion King is an easy example where I was like, that was absolute trash. And I get it was technically well made, but it was just so devoid of actual soul.
Have I told you how I sum it up to everybody I talk to?
No, go ahead. Hit me with it.
The song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, happens during the day.
I know.
That's how I sum it up.
That
movie is such shit.
Jackie
wants to watch it. I keep telling her, just don't.
Has she seen it?
Not yet, no.
I do think it's worth watching once, just because it's almost hard to explain, because you'd think it'd be good. I mean, you'd think I liked The Jungle Book, and
yeah,
the issue, and they have the same creative team for The Lion King, and again, the visual effects are seriously amazing, and it's unlike anything I've really seen other than maybe The Jungle Book. But at the same time, they don't even take any artistic liberties with it like they do with The Jungle Book. It's scene by scene the same thing with poorer performances and poorer like design, like and then they add in the fucking song with Nala or Beyonce.
Yep. Like
Breathe or whatever it's called, or Fly or whatever the fuck it's called, or like
it's
Begin or something. What the fuck is it called? It's the dumbest fucking title.
Turn it off. It's an awful movie. I fucking hated it, and there's nothing redemptive about it other than the effects, and it's like I would just rather watch a movie with good effects.
Right.
I'd rather watch a good movie with subpar effects than this movie.
Oh, it's called Spirit. I was kind of close. But yeah, that's how I feel, because like if you're gonna watch The Lion King, you literally might as well watch the original. I tried watching Aladdin. Have you seen the new Aladdin?
No, I probably won't watch it.
I've gotten to a point in my life where like I used to go see these movies for fun because like I had time on my hands and theaters were open, and nowadays like I have Disney Plus, but it's like a waste of time. Like I'm not gonna fucking watch Aladdin with Will Smith when it looks like shit. Why would I?
Yeah. I think the only reason I've watched any movies lately is because of This Better Be Good, the other podcast. That's the reason. I mean, other than that, it's like I'm watching documentaries or TV episodes of something. So. I don't even. We really have been watching Queer Eye, which I must say is honestly a pretty fun show. Just because. Like, I wouldn't defend it. Like, I wouldn't say if someone didn't like it, like, I'm assuming you don't, which is totally fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Jonathan Van Ness's beard annoys me.
I love his beard. I love his beard.
Everyone does. It's like it's drawn on with Sharpie. I love it. I wish his beard looks.
See, you're lucky, though, because you could have that beard. So you're kind of like, whatever, but I want what I can't have. And in this case, it is his beard.
But it's
thick and beautiful and lustrous.
His beard starts, for people not watching, his beard is like here down,
with eyebrows to the. He looks like a werewolf.
To the fucking it's crazy.
Well, it's shorter in this season, and then he has like the little 1800s gold prospector Mac.
That's the thing that I fucking hate. It's like the 5 o'clock shadow that's drawn on with Sharpie, and then the handlebar twirly mustache.
So jealous.
Oh my god, it looks so dumb. I hate it.
But that's an easy show to like have a couple beers to and literally talk, because the entire thing is presented in such a conversational, like it's there to be a conversation piece. It's not there to necessarily watch, and it's so easy for me and my lady to be watching it and just be like literally talking about every single aspect, and it's so fun because of that, because there aren't a lot of movies out there that we agree on that you can have that conversation with.
That's true. You found something that you love doing.
I wanted The Bachelor to be this, but The Bachelor's fucking trash.
Yeah. I could tell you that.
Yeah,
You mean having multiple women compete for the affection and love of one guy, or vice versa, when it's never a fruitful situation? It's just for ratings and drama and
Instagram
money.
Followers.
It's fucking crazy. I mean, I can't believe that like, it's interesting to me that both those shows fall under reality TV when neither of them are, but
no reality TV is true reality TV.
No, it's not.
Really,
but
at least.
The idea that you can actually start a conversation with one show, that could be for the better.
Yeah.
Than the other one. It's just like, oh my God, gossip. Did you hear that Joe or the Firestone guy with tires and fucks the
I love how you reference like a season from 2003 or something.
That's the last one that I remember my stepmom watching.
That's funny. But dude, yeah, it's so... Well, that's what we've been... What's the other one? I've been trying to get into Avatar: The Last Airbender because everyone is talking about it so much that I feel I need to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Jackie blew right through it, and what I watched was great. It's very entertaining.
I like the first episode. It's not something I normally watch, so I think it's one of those things I need to try to watch a couple more times.
Yeah, you'll for sure get into it. Just give it a little bit.
Yeah, because I loved The Witcher, for example, which is similar in the fantasy type aspect.
Yeah, she watched that too. It was great.
Nice. It is nice to catch up on shit during this coronavirus. It is awful that it has delayed all of the movies I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm. And it's also killed a lot of people. 122,000 something.
Oh, no, I don't. I mean, you know, whatever. No big deal. No big deal. We don't have to wear face masks. It's a political statement.
Ah!
Can you imagine if we just all wore masks? Like, this thing would be plummeting. That's all we'd have to do. And then, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen.
Could you imagine being a person that calls people who wear masks a pussy? Like,
no.
Could you imagine being that person?
I don't know even what that feels like because those people are fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm.
They're just fucking morons. I don't get. You know what I don't get? I think maybe we talked about this. I don't know for sure. I just think it's crazy. In World War II, they had rationing, like literal nationwide rationing of food for people.
Yeah.
And we can't wear a mask in public. You don't even have to do it when you're walking down the street. It's like when you're in places.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's the recommendation, at least when you're in a place. At least when you're in a place. Just be in a place. And we can't do that. It's crazy. I do it. It's easy. There are also people, they're like, I can't breathe in this thing. And I'm like, well, what?
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Is like, are you trying to hyperventilate? Just quit. That's how they're breathing behind a mask. That's how you lose your fucking life. Stop doing that. Inhale, exhale. You can still breathe. Oh my God.
You see Europe's and they're going down. And we could have been that. I think it's crazy that we crashed the economy and we just unemployment skyrocketed. We willingly did that for months. And instead of doing anything to provide some sort of guidelines or leadership or whatever, instead of doing any of that, we were just like, okay, well, we crashed the economy, so we're good in like 2 months then, right? Like,
yeah, no! Get back to work. And then it's fucking skyrocketing because people have traveled from state to state and vice versa. And it's just like, you didn't do anything to help this. Nothing. And then it's like they've also convinced people to say, if you're wearing a mask, you're a pussy. It's a conspiracy. It's not real. Also, Trump is the best. And K-pop stans didn't stop people from, or did stop people from coming to the rally, even though that's not true. They never capped the tickets. So the amount of people that wanted to go fucking went and got in.
Dude, I just can't get over. I don't even know. I mean, it's just I can't. I can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Fucking a mask. I can't understand, I guess. There's so much going on with the not wearing a mask mentality.
Yeah.
But you are willingly putting yourself at risk. Like, I'm not, how do I put this? I'm not afraid of the virus. Like, if I get it, I get it. But I am taking the precautions, and I can't imagine myself willingly just being like, well, fuck this, I'm going to the club.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, I just can't imagine being that fearless and stupid.
I mean, I hated being at the Bob this past weekend. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, like I can imagine.
Again this weekend, I hate it every second of it.
Yeah, like I have on-site hours and we do everything by the book, and I'm comfortable with what we're doing. But it's also like that's like all I do. I mean, I'll go to the grocery store, but that's it.
The problem is, once you get so many people, it doesn't matter if it's 20 or 200. It doesn't matter how many people it is in a place. If you get one person that's infected and they touch a door handle, and then someone else who wasn't infected touches a door handle, the odds that they get it goes up, and then that person can touch another door handle and it spreads to everybody else. They can touch a table, a pen, a fucking light switch, anything.
It spread
to everybody. That is the difference. So, I'm not even focusing on... I don't. It's not that I don't care if I get. I don't want to get it, obviously.
Right.
So I'm trying to take as many precautions as possible. My focus is other people that I come into contact with if I do get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm an empathetic person and I have compassion. I don't want someone else to get it.
Yeah, we lose sight of that because we're Americans and we have short-term memory loss.
Oh, it's also because I've talked to multiple people that don't know about those symptoms. They don't know that it can be asymptomatic. They just don't know.
There's no education out there.
It has existed for 3 months. Again, education. That could change the world tenfold.
We had months to figure this out, and we could have come up with a way to inform people about this and the fact that it's asymptomatic. The fact that people don't know about that and they're adults is awful. Like, that needs to be known because this is a huge issue right now. I mean, it is. It is. It's possibly delaying the NFL season, and that I will not stand for.
Oh my God! You should kneel for it.
I want to see the Washington Warriors. It was all right. They're all gonna kneel. I can't wait. I want to see it. They're all gonna
fucking better
because everyone's pissed. Fuck it.